In the top stories, Premier Brantley announces 15% pay raise for Nevis civil servants. Antigua and Barbuda hosts high-level meeting of GCF board, and more than 1 million in North Korea infected with COVID-19. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, the 17th of May, 2022. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, has announced that public servants and pensioners on Nevis will be getting a 15% increase in salaries and pensions over the next 2 years. He made the announcement in an address on Monday night.
With effect from the next payday, public servants and pensioners in Nevis shall receive a 5% increase in their salaries and wages, retroactive to January 1st, 2022. On January 1st, 2023, we shall give a further 5% increase to our public servants and pensioners. On January 1st, 2024, we shall give a further 5% increase to our public servants and pensioners. Put differently, on Nevis, our public servants and pensioners will receive salary and wage and pension increases of 15% compounded over the period 2022 to 2024. This staggered approach will enable the NIA to better manage the increases and allow for better management of the finances of the government.
He said the ministers of the Nevis Island administration will not receive increases. The Premier also announced that customs duties on corned beef, pasta, sardines, tea, coffee, bacon, sausages, and similar breakfast meats, as well as cheese, chicken, milk, rice, flour, fruits, and meat will be waived. This lasts until August 31. Officers from the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services are asking the general public to properly store highly flammable or toxic items on their property. The appeal comes from Fire Substation Officer Rommel Williams during ZIZ radio program's Fire Talk on Tuesday. He referenced an incident that occurred recently where a bushfire broke out at a boatyard in New Guinea where highly flammable rubber pipes were being stored on the property.
One of the fires that we realized took some time to extinguish. As a matter of fact, we had to more or less get some help from a backhoe, and I think at one point an excavator, because what was burning was some huge rubber pipes. There were a lot of these rubber pipes, and they were piled up on one another on the ground, and there was the fire. And apparently, from what I saw, it seemed as though the fire led from the bush onto the rubber hoses. And that thing burned. And because these hoses appeared to be they were just in the bush. Our bush was close enough to get to them, to ignite them. Those gave off some really toxic smoke, and it actually blocked the road at one point.
Williams suggested that persons can reduce the further spread of bushfires on their property by using fire breaks, which are gaps in vegetation or other combustible material which act as a barrier to slow or stop the progress of a bushfire or wildfire.
I mentioned this to say that if you're going to be storing things like these, you have to make sure, and then again, we don't want to. We spoke about fire break. Fire break is not just for property. Fire break is for these kind of things as well. Because if you had a clear enough area around those pipes where the bushfire could not reach it, then you would not have had that ignition. I mean, there are the possibility of flying embers going on, but that would take a much longer time to ignite those. Those seem to be exposed to direct flames, which would have caused the ignition. And so we're appealing to persons when they come to storing things like those. You have to make sure that you have a proper fire break as well around those items.
He advised that persons should properly protect their investments because what could be lost during a fire could cost them greatly. Following International Day of Families on Sunday, International Day of the Boy Child was celebrated on Monday. In an address, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, Minister of Social Development and Gender Affairs, spoke of the theme.
On this Day of the Boy Child, which is being celebrated under the theme Boys Under Construction, we are encouraged to consider our young boys as our work in progress. It urges us to see potential and promise in every male child and to make the investments to allow our boys to shine and achieve their highest potential. The term construction brings to mind the numerous resources needed to build a house. How all of these resources must come together, must follow a plan if the finished product is to be sturdy and strong.
He spoke of the application of the plan, referred to in the theme, as a way to raise successful persons.
For boys proverbially under construction, our resources would include the family, the state, the religious community, and the school, among many other institutions and disciplines. We must all be reading from the same plan and apply the same guiding principles as we seek to cultivate responsibility in each boy who passes through our various institutions. We must all realize that through collaboration, we have a higher chance of seeing our boys succeed.
Minister Hamilton commended everyone who's doing his or her part to positively impact boys.
I wish to specifically point out organizations such as Pathfinders, Scouts, Boys Brigade, Cadet Corps, ALCAS, and Explorers Club as they continue to provide positive outlets for our young men. It would be remiss of me if I omit those in the entertainment and cultural sectors who organize specific programs for our young people. And finally, I commend the Department of Gender Affairs for the work that they have been doing along with the National Men's Council and the Boys Mentorship Advisory Board. The work and effort you put in every day will bear much fruit and will benefit many future generations.
Minister of Social Development and
I wish to specifically point out
addressing the nation on International Day of the Boy Child. Moving now to news on the regional scene. Antigua and Barbuda continues to position itself on the avant-garde of the battle against climate change. The country is